OnAirCoach.
Hang on a second.
Hold on, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll pull it down. There we go. We got more headroom.
Yeah, like technology, eh? Who's the
I know. I'm the younger guy and technology hates me. I don't know what's going on here.
Is there a little icon with a microphone on it? I'll try to click that. That might work. I don't know what that'll do.
Brady?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're the star of the show, man.
Yeah,
so, what's going on?
No. You guys are the one that are awesome. I'm just at work right now.
This is just a love fest. Then we'll just tell each other how great we are. And
We can do that all day long. I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Seen your video, and we'll talk to you about that. Like,
Oh yeah, I got you. All about the editing. That's the best part. If you can edit well, you're solid.
Exactly.
That's actually one of the questions I'm going to ask you.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do you want to get rocking on it?
Yeah, let's get rocking. You ready?
You know what's that?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
OnAirCoach.
Hey, Nails and Tracey here from OnAirCoach.
If you've been online recently, then most definitely you've come across this guy we're just about to chat to.
Yeah, his video went viral. Everybody in radio loves the video.
He's from Savannah, Georgia. Hot 98.3 doing the PM drive.
He is Mr. Brady. We'll call you Brady C or Brady.
You can call me Brady. That's fine. Yeah. I'll be a one-person name like Seal. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
What does the C stand for? No, I don't even want to know. It's like asking a presenter who has a made-up name, what's your real name? You know what your real name is. Brady, before we get going, let's take a look at a few seconds of this video. You versus Broadway, okay?
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
It's Broadway here to play a song that made it on MTV the very first day. 37 years ago, they had the audacity to show nothing but music videos. Of course, the way your lifetime goes, I'm still here minding the store, handling the old Wild Wednesday chore, and they're showing Jersey Shore.
Baby Billy, I love talking about history. This song had its music video play on MTV 37 years ago. Now they've sold their soul. Instead of the tunes, I learned how to go to the gym tan and do my chores from three guys on Jersey Shore.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world.
That's something else, man.
That is just incredible. Oh
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
So what I want to know is, it was National Radio Day. You decided to do this video between yourself and Broadway, Brady versus Broadway.
Yeah.
How did this idea all come about, Brady?
Honestly, I thought of the video or a couple of days before National Radio Day, so I wasn't even thinking about it. I saw his post come up on Facebook, and I was like, oh, like I make a lot of video stuff. I was like, I'm gonna duel this guy. But then I wake up that morning and I see a couple people's posts on Facebook that said Happy National Radio Day, and I was like, I have to do it today. So I went to the studio and I got all my stuff together or whatever, and then started recording, and then that's when I put it up online, and it kind of just took off from there.
Well, I gotta tell you, Brady, the way we stumbled upon it, right? We had a late day, we were doing a lot of work, we sat down on the couch, we just finished coaching a guy and we were tired. I just thought, I'll open up the laptop and see what's going on. And I see Broadway versus Brady. I'm thinking, a lot of guys try to do the You know where I'm going with this one.
Oh yeah. I was very nervous about that. I was sitting there, I'm like, all right, if I post this and it goes badly, I'm done. Like, I won't have a job in this business.
You're totally right. But I said to myself, right, I'm going to give this one a go. So I click play on it, have the audio booming, and we're sitting beside each other on the couch. And about 10 seconds in, I literally hear Tracey's jaw hit the floor.
My jaw just dropped to the ground, Brady. I was like, oh my God.
She says, who? What the hell is that? I'm like,
who? What?
So we watched it about 2 or 3 times after that. And it's the first time I've seen it done really, really well, man. First time I've really seen it.
Well, no, and it's like one of those famous songs, like either Celine Dion or whatever, and you see contestants go on American Idol and they try and do it, and they're never the same. It's never that good. And when I saw Broadway's, of course, I'm not going to be as good as Broadway. Because if I've gone back and watched the video and I've just heard his voice inflections versus mine, and his is just way more matured. Of course, he's done it for years. Yeah. And that's just nitpicky me, though. Like, anyone in radio is nitpicky when they look over a break. And so when I went back and listened on my side of it, I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, and I could have done that better. So I was like my biggest critic on it. I was like, there was so many things that could have gone better on that one.
Still, like,
it turned out really well.
We are worst critics. Yeah. We are, definitely. And speaking of that video, okay, so Broadway's doing his thing. You're watching Broadway. and then you go ahead, do your thing, but the two screens are on, and I do production. How do you put that thing together? How do you do it?
Well, I had to take Broadway's video off of his Facebook page, and then I set it up in the editing software. I put his next to it, and then I just slid my video over. That's why mine was a lot bigger, because his was only on a cell phone.
Ego, man. I just thought,
that was my ego taking over there. No, I wanted to message Broadway. I was going to be like, hey, man, next time you do one of those, lay your phone sideways. That way I can use the whole screen. Because that's what it looked like. It looked like I was just taking over the show, but in all actuality, Broadway had his cell phone up just like this instead of turning it sideways. So I was like, okay, so I had to make it to where mine was a square and his was a rectangle and put it in there. But I basically just had to freeze frame it from when I took over. That way his image would still stay there and it would just, loop over. That's why every single time before I talked or he talked, we both would change positions because we were getting ready to do a break.
Well bloody done, because it looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
It really does.
I guess you didn't.
It turned out really well.
You needed no practice for that, right? You just turned the mic on and just did it.
I wish I could lie to you and say it was right off the cuff. It was no, I actually messaged Broadway on that. I told him, I was like, man, I'm not going to lie. I had to practice for a couple days, just thinking about it. I would pace back and forth in the hallway and sit there on my notepad and be like, all right, I'm going to write this break out. Because I didn't want to do exactly his break because that wouldn't have been as fun. So I was trying to make it to where some parts were similar, some parts were my own, and kind of just, what I've heard a lot of people say, imitation is the best form of flattery, if you will. So I was trying to imitate him in certain ways, but at the same time still come up with and have something about myself. So
now, Broadway has his own style, and what he does is what he does. Do you have a style in studio? I mean, when you're setting up a talk break or a link, do you have anything? Do you have a structure in your head? How do you go about what you do, or does it just happen and you go with the flow?
Well, I would say, you look at Broadway's breaks and you look at mine. Mine are a lot easier just because of the way radio is today. It's all about nostalgia, and that's one of the reasons I did that video was because you think back of great 90s movies or 90s music and 90s just disc jockeys. So I did that based on the premise of I wanted to bring back a form when radio was great. Radio today, the way I set up breaks is just talking and have a conversation with somebody. There's no art form to it per se. It's just find out what you want to talk about and put a smile on your face and do it. So there's not really, every artist has its, puts a signature at the bottom of the page. I mean, I'm Italian, so I'll talk with my hands a lot. But that's about it.
Yeah, of course.
But that's about it. Broadway's craft is definitely a one of its kind and the last of his kind. If I did that on air normally, I would probably be yelled at. My boss would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Tracy calls him the radio poet. That's what
I just think he's the radio poet. When you start your own show doing the PM Drive, how do you actually hype yourself up? And do you do that Broadway dance that you did? That one.
Oh, that one.
That shoulder roll. Broadway does a little better.
Oh, look at it! Look at him go.
How can I say? I just love my job. So anytime you hit a good break, you hit the post properly, or what do you call it?
Link, yeah.
The flick. It's one of those things that like a sports player, like a basketball player will shoot a 3-pointer and make it and he'll pump them up or whatever. Hitting the post, doing the basics in radio, that gets me fired up. So it's a lot of the basics, and a lot of my mentors, anytime I see them do well or whatever, or I get a compliment from a mentor, I always tell people the two worst things in this world is good job, but every now and then when you get that little one from your mentor, it's always a good feeling. So.
And you've done well for 3 years, haven't you? You've progressed pretty quickly, I must say.
There's been a lot of road bumps. And I'm still not where I want to be. That is a proven fact. There's always.
What? You mean the story to end here? Are you kidding me?
Oh no, I hope because everyone's ultimate goal in radio is to reach the top one day. Get to New York City would be here. I don't know what. In London or in Ireland or wherever, the number one spot is to go, Dublin, England, wherever. But BBC would be another one over there. But everyone's goal is to reach the top. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop till.
I learned that when I worked in Canada. I worked in Canada for 12 years. Everybody wants to go to Toronto because it's just the market, right? It's the big city. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not.
It's the flashing lights of the big city. You got to go.
You just need to say, I did it. I did the big city. I've arrived. Yeah.
I think, Brady, you're putting the fun back in radio, and especially for young people who probably switch to Spotify and stuff like that, YouTube videos. anyone who's seen your video and wants to get into radio, what advice could you actually give them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, not there.
That one.
What? See, everyone is different. I remember when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, a radio disc jockey came to our school because we had won a contest, and his name was Chris, and he broadcast live from our school auditorium and all this other stuff, and I fell in love with it. And it's one of those things, like, people either become a doctor or they become a police officer, or they become a vet, and then some people get that entertainment itch and they're like, I want to go be on the radio. As long as you can look yourself in, at the mirror and, still have that passion for it, you go, oh my God, I love that. Because there's no better feeling than cracking the mic and knowing people are listening to you. That's the great thing. That's like, my mentor always told me there's 2 things you always find in radio stations. It's divas and donuts. And that's what makes a diva. It's like, you get that egotistical thing, like, oh, people are listening to me right now. And it's that love of just wanting to talk. And you could go back all the way to my school years and all that stuff. All the teachers would say he talks too much, and I found a job where I could talk just enough. So
who did you listen to, Brady, when you were growing up on the radio?
In Kansas City, there were a couple of guys. Johnny Dare, he was a really big shock jock, huge fan of his. Then you always have the big people like Broadway, and you have Howard Stern, and you have all these other people, and you watch their documentaries and you watch their interviews on TV, and you're just like, I want to be just like them. But people in radio today, that's one advice I would give them. Don't try and be Broadway Bill. Don't try and be Howard Stern. Don't try and be any of those guys. Do your own thing. Go ahead and make something. I like the video I made, that was just on a whim. That wasn't anything like, the nostalgia part of it, yes, helps, and everyone's like, oh, it brings you back to a good old days, but do it. I love when people go, oh, I thought of that but didn't do it. You should have done it. Just do it.
Inspired by people, but not to copy them. To pick up off the enthusiasm and their energy, like you did with Broadway. Picking up off the energy and doing a homage to them like that is amazing. But you know who you are. That's not who you are. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing as well. Yeah.
That's one thing I think that because radio has gotten so corporate.
Yes.
That it'd be helpful for radio people to use social media to do ideas like that. Make a video like that. And don't make a video of you, showing them how to stir the pot of water when trying to boil noodles or something. But make a video that's different and funny, and then run with it, and then people will go ahead and see it. So.
We've got all these great tools we can be creative with now. Why not just be creative with them and use them? Use them well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And prep what you're doing on video, prep all your social media stuff like you did, and it pays off. You're seeing that now, right?
Well, yeah, and then that's another thing too, and I forgot to mention, is if you're going to do stuff like that, just like show prep on a radio show, it takes me 3 days to make a video. You get the idea, you sit down, you write it all out in a script, and then you go look for the stuff that you need, and then you go do a day of shooting, and then the next day of editing, and then it's done. And so it takes a minute to make a video that's even worthy enough. I can go make a quick video right now and get it done in 30 minutes, but it's not going to be good. If you want to make something that's going to be, have people, stop scrolling on their news feed, kind of like everyone rubbernecks while driving. If there's an accident, they look over and they stop, they go down 35. Well, if you want people to stop scrolling so fast on their news feed and stop and pay attention to you for a second, make something that's worth something, And so, you get that camera, get that microphone you've always wanted, and just go out and have some fun with it.
Do you know what, as well, you really collaborated social media at radio, and that's one thing that we talk a lot about to people that we coach.
I've done a lot of. So if you use show prep for any of your, like one of the websites, like Dr. Dave's or Complete Sheet, or I don't know what you guys use over there for show prep, but there's always stories in there, weird news stories about this person, did this into a Walmart or whatever. You can make a short, funny video about it. And then they have all kinds of statistics where it's like 25% of people would divorce their significant other if they won the lottery. You can make a funny short about that. It's just like bits on the radio. Radio used to be theater of the mind. Now, in today's day and age, it's just talking. But back in the day, it was theater of the mind. You would create bits and you would do all this other stuff. Well, if you can't do it on air anymore, go do it in real life. Make a video out of it. Use it.
It gets it out of your system too. That creative.
And you wonder why podcasts are so popular. You wonder why all these YouTubers are so popular. It's because they're bringing the visualization of what radio used to be, and they're bringing it into the social media realm. You could look at anybody who is famous on the internet, and they all have that it. They're like, oh, that's it. They're not coming to radio. They don't want it here because they're under so many rules. If radio would realize, like, okay, maybe we need to let the creativity flow and step back a minute, there would be so many great people back in radio. And that's the important part.
I think we might have a savior of radio here.
I think so.
No, I'm not a messiah yet. Don't.
You got the makings of it. You got the makings of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen enough bullshit artists in my time to know a real deal when I see it. So good on you.
I appreciate that. I really do. And again, it's honestly, it's all editing. It's more the idea. And there are a million people better than me. I will say that.
Is it a million people better than everybody? But it's who's on and who's not on is the difference. You're on doing it. So, you know?
Well, yeah. And I mean, there's a million people better than me. But the one thing I will say is when I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I think that's what separates, you know, people always say like millennials, we get this bad rap of we want to be millionaires by 30. And it's like some of them are. Why? Because they went out and did it and they conducted themselves and
they worked at it.
What they looked at and they went out and grabbed it. And for a lot of people my age, especially in radio, they go, well, I want to be the next Howard Stern, but they don't follow the stepping stones of what it takes to get there. And it's like, okay, like right now, am I exactly where I want to be? Absolutely not. I am still on my way up. I got my eyes set on the big prize, and I'm going to continue to work until I get there.
And you know the beauty about that, no matter what age you are, that never stops.
See, that's what someone told me a long time ago. The day you're not having fun, get out. And it's because that opens the door for someone else who wants to get in and do your job. And then, so I'm hoping I never lose that ability. That's why broadcasters, they always retire at 90.
We can't afford to retire.
We don't make enough money. Oh gosh, that's so awesome.
I'm sweating here. Look at me. I'm absolutely sweating. We're in Malta at the moment. That's where we live, and it's like.
Well, it's hot in Savannah as well, right?
Yeah, it's.
Oh yes. Oh God, yes. It was like 100 degrees the other day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was miserable.
Yeah, you know exactly what we're suffering, so it's all right. We can suffer together.
No, I moved from the extreme winters of the Dakotas, and now I'm down here in the South, so it's pretty hot. Yeah.
I'm just in awe of you, Brady, because
don't be in awe of me. I'm in awe of you guys. What are you talking about? You guys are awesome.
This is where we started.
This is where we started. Like it's like you're like an ambassador for the younger people listening to the radio now.
Oh, I agree.
Well, no, and I wouldn't say how can I. At the end of the day, I've learned all my stuff just by watching you guys. You guys have helped me because I've seen what works, I've seen what hasn't, and I'm waiting for the day that someone looks at me and goes, hey, go for it. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what happens. And
it'll happen. It'll definitely happen. Thank you for that. It's very nice of you. I appreciate it.
No, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. I'm drinking your coffee for you. I'm wide awake now, and I got like 4 hours before bedtime.
Coffee. We got beer.
We got a
load of beer in the fridge.
See, you guys are lucky. You guys got more lax laws. I can't even drink in the studio. Oh, man, it's terrible.
Brady, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, where do we find you?
You can find me at Brady C Hot 98.3 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. LinkedIn, I got to update that thing. I'm not going to lie.
I just slipped out. I don't know why I said LinkedIn.
I think you might have to
said LinkedIn.
my real name on that one. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know why I said LinkedIn. Are you on Bebo as well by any chance? Just checking. You know,
we got Venmo. I mean, I got Zelle. What else do you guys want? We could go ahead and hook it up. PayPal, we can get that one too.
That's right. It's been an absolute pleasure, Brady. We're huge fans. We just love what you did there.
Yeah, and those eyes. Show us those eyes.
What are you talking? The eyes? Is that what every girl's been saying so far? Is that the eyes? The eyes right there? You can go find them on Facebook. You can look at them all day. I promise.
Brady, absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah,
best of luck with everything.
Take care, y'all. Have a good one.
Take care.
Seriously. I love you all.
On Air Coach.